Welcome to the annual Stand With Us Festival of Lights, a celebration of Stand With Us, Israel, and the Jewish people. We hope you enjoy remarks by John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting and a keynote speech by former Israeli spokesperson Eylon Levy. While the past year has seen a record amount of polarizing misinformation and propaganda, it has also seen a number of pro-Israel celebrities and influencers rise to the occasion in support of the Jewish people and state. And we are blessed to have an influencer turned educator with us here tonight. Her videos on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook have received tens of millions of views, and she is using her platform to expand Holocaust education to millions more.
Montana Tucker lost hundreds of thousands of followers over her support for Israel. She says that won't stop her, and she in fact made a documentary called The Children of October 7th.
Dancers that I've danced with for years that I've collaborated with, they have flat out told me they won't collaborate with me because of my support for Israel.
That support is deeply personal. Tucker is the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors.
My grandma specifically is a survivor of Auschwitz, so my grandma had to see her mother get beaten up and dragged to the gas chambers.
Horrific stories like those motivated Tucker to speak out.
That I always thought my responsibility was just to make people happy and dance and show that's what my talent is, but it's now way bigger than that.
This is where they arrived. But this is the last place where your grandma's mother, your great-grandmother, stood anyway. There's a lot of candles we need to light, but sometimes one is enough. It takes one person to destroy the world, it takes one person to change the world.
If you have influence and you're not using it for what you believe in and standing for what you believe in, what's the point?
There's nothing like being in Israel, I have to say. I've been traveling all over, but being back here in Israel and to feel the love and the spirit and the resilience and the pride of Israelis is just so special.
Stand up to be heard. And that's why I hope that all of our friends will be there for us, that they will choose to stand with us. This is a moment that we will all remember forever. And what we do right now, in this moment, will stay with us for the rest of our lives. Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you all so much.
Please welcome actress, singer, dancer, social media activist, and friend of Israel, tonight's MC, Montana Tucker.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Woo! Thank you all so much, and welcome to the 2024 Stand With Us Festival of Lights. Woo! I am so delighted to be here with all of you who care so much about Israel and the Jewish people. Yeah. You have no idea how comforting it is for me to be here with Stand With Us, an organization that cultivates and supports people around the world who all love Israel and the Jewish people. I have personally been watching your work for years, but particularly since October 7th, and I'm so grateful to you for all of the ways that you stand up for Israel and fight anti-Semitism. On behalf of Stand With Us, I would like to thank our incredible hosts, the two couples that always make this important and inspiring evening possible, Ellie and Bruce Letterman and Debbie and Nati Seidoff. Please stand wherever you are. Thank you so much for making this beautiful evening possible every single year. This is such an important time for us all to be together. Our hearts are joined in this challenging time in Jewish history, and we need to be together. I would like to ask the members of the Stand With Us National Board to please stand and be recognized. thank you so much for all of your support of this effective organization that was created for such a time as this. Look at everything you all have built. It's amazing. This year, Stand With Us is 23 years old. I want to give a special thanks to International President Esther Renzer and our international executives, Jerry and Roz Rothstein, for founding this organization 23 years ago. And for all of the incredible work that they do every single day. And of course, thank you to the incredible international Stand With Us staff for working on 6 continents. Yes. Thank you all for another year of tremendous work and growth and effective results, which we will celebrate and showcase this evening. And now, may you all please rise for the singing of the national anthem, followed by Hatikva.
Please welcome one of the founders of the Stand With Us Festival of Lights, Rabbi Cantor Allison Wissett, and her daughter, Abby Wissett.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And now, the Hatikva will be performed by Eli Rostami, Ami Popper, and Eliana Geft from Harkam Hillel Academy.
Thank you.
so much to all of those beautiful and talented singers. And thank you to all of the rabbis from every denomination, from Chabad to Temple of the Arts, Young Israel of Beverly Hills, and many more. Woo! Welcome to our elected officials, as well as representatives from other organizations like AJC, ADL, Jewish Federation LA, and so many more. Thank you for being here. And I want to give a special shout out to Professor Judea Pearl, father of slain journalist Daniel Pearl. Mr. Pearl has worked so closely with Stand With Us since our inception, and thank you for being with us tonight. You have always been there for Zionist students at UCLA and beyond. I would also like to acknowledge a couple of Israeli soldier reservists in the room tonight. First, Ethan, a Stand With Us Kenneth Leventhal intern alum who became a lone soldier and served in Gaza in the paratroopers brigade. He witnessed the horrors of a war with Hamas terrorists and watched many of his fellow platoon members fall in battle. He was also stationed at the border with Lebanon. Ethan, will you please stand? You are a hero, Ethan. Thank you so much. We also have lone soldier Max Levin in the audience tonight. Would you please stand? Another hero. Thank you so much. Another Israeli soldier in the room, Izzy Izagwi, should be recognized for his incredible heroism in the IDF. Even after he lost one of his arms in battle, he continued to fight hard for Israel as a soldier and then reservist. And we particularly want to thank him for his recent reserve duty in Lebanon, where he helped to blow up Hezbollah terrorist tunnels. Izzy Izagwe, will you please stand and let us recognize you? Thank you, Izzy. Are there any other people in the room who have ever served in the IDF, either recently or any times in your lives? If you have, please stand. Yes. We love you. Wow, yes. This is amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of our heroes. Including Leo David, who started the Friends of the IDF right here in Los Angeles. Yes, thank you. And thank you all for protecting and defending the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. And now, will you please welcome to the stage the local Consul General of Israel, Bachar.
Good evening, stand with us, to everybody who are here. And you have stood with us every second of every day for the last 436 days. The State of Israel thanks you. I applaud you. This audience knows too well it has been a year of unspeakable tragedy and heroic triumph. Last year, I assured you, we will win this war. Today, it's clear, Israel is winning. We are at a historic crossroads, and the Middle East is dramatically changing. Never forget, one of the main goals of the October 7th attack was to derail the peace process. We will not let it happen. The Abraham Accords are standing strong. The enemies of peace will not prevail. Look around us. Sinwar, gone. Nasrallah, gone. Taif, please help me. Taif, gone. Hania, gone. Assad, the terrorist strengths of Hezbollah disseminated, Hamas military destroyed, Iran on its heels, Syria crumbles in days. A year ago, I stood on this stage and said, the vital work of Stand With Us strengthens and lifts the Israeli people. Roy, Rose, Jerry, Esther, and your incredible team around the globe, thank you for fighting the Jew hatred and the lies, the fabrications, the falsehood on campus, on 6 continents, helping any student facing the vile hatred of anti-Semitism. And October 7th has made it crystal clear. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Full stop. An obvious fact that seems to elude the UN. Even as Israel sends evidence that 100 UNRWA employees took part in terrorist atrocities, the UN refuses to fire them. And this past Tuesday was United Nations International Human Rights Day. That's one heck of an oxymoron. Human rights, not at ICJ. Assad, a dictator, guilty of torturing, murdering, brutalizing hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children, walks free. A democratically elected leader of a free nation, defending his country against a terrorist army, persecuted and prosecuted. Human rights, except for our 100 hostages still clinging to life in the dungeon under Gaza. I demand the UN fire the 100 UNRWA terrorists and free the 100 innocent hostages immediately. I believe and pray we will soon have good news. And listen well. We will never give up until every hostage is home. The IDF is not leaving Gaza until every hostage is coming home. And I call upon the new fighting Jew who was shaken to their core by October 7th, keep fighting. Students on the front lines who refuse to bow to Hamas sympathizers, keep fighting. Those of you who have been battling for Israel for years, keep fighting. And to our non-Jewish friends, like the heroes we have here tonight, Patricia Heaton, John, keep fighting. And thank you for saying, not on my watch, because we all know those who burn the Israeli flag also burn the American flag. Those who want to destroy Jews will not stop with the Jews. So to all of you, stay strong, stay proud, and Am Israel Chai.
Thank you so much to the incredible Consul General Bachar. Being here tonight, standing with all of you, is deeply personal for me. As some of you may know, my grandparents were Holocaust survivors. And growing up, their stories weren't just bedtime tales or history lessons, they were my reality. They told me about the fear, the loss, and the unimaginable strength it took to survive. Those stories were my foundation. They taught me resilience and the responsibility that we all have to never stay silent in the face of hate. And that is why I have dedicated my entire life and all of my social media platforms of 14 million followers to fight anti-Semitism. And to share these stories, not just from my family's past, but from what is happening right here today. The October 7th terrorist attacks shook me to my core. And since that day, I have been back to Israel 4 different times, with many more trips planned. I've sat with many released hostages, with hostage families, and many different survivors. I've heard their pain. I've held their hands as they share with me unimaginable loss. One of the most impactful projects I've worked on is my new documentary, The Children of October 7th. I shared the testimonies of children who witnessed horrors that no one, especially a child, should ever have to experience. Children who were either taken hostage, whose parents were taken hostage and are still hostage, or kids who had to witness Hamas murder their parents right in front of them. I've released a few first look clips on my Instagram account already, and the full-length documentary will be coming out soon. You know, I use my platforms because I believe that storytelling is one of the most powerful tools that we have. It connects us, it educates us, and it can inspire real change. But I can't do this alone. And that is why Stand With Us is so incredibly important. You know, this organization doesn't just teach, it empowers. They give students and communities the tools to counter hate, to stand up for Israel, and to educate others. Their work is about building bridges and fostering understanding, even in the face of rising anti-Semitism. We are not here tonight to just hear about the problems. We're here because we believe in solutions. And each of you in this room represents hope and the ability to make change, whether it's by sharing knowledge, taking action, or supporting incredible organizations like Stand With Us. My grandparents survived the absolute worst chapter of humanity, and I owe it to them to ensure that never again, never forget aren't just words, it's a mission. And I know every single one of you in this room share that mission with me, right? So let's keep fighting for truth, for Israel, and for a future where no one ever has to endure what my grandparents did, or what so many are experiencing right now. Thank you all for standing with me, for standing with us, and for with Israel. Thank you.
And now, for a special surprise, please welcome the 3 founders of Stand With Us, International President Esther Renzer, and International Executives Roz and Jerry Rothstein.
We have a surprise for Montana Tucker. We could not let this moment go by without giving you a Guardian of Israel award. Montana has shifted her entire life since October 7th to educate and to inspire people of all ages all over the world, but especially young Jews. So we are so grateful, and we just want to let you know, Montana. And so please, from all of us in this room, please accept. We kept it from her. Okay, we're taking a picture right there.
Got it? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Montana.
You're the best.
So now, for a little bit of fun, I do not see the bio of the comedian that is about to entertain us, Dan Ahdoot. Okay, I need to go up, new, to Dan Ahdoot. This is a technical flaw here. Okay, I don't know if you know Dan, but, okay, please move, hello. Move this up to Dan Ahdoot. Thank you, yes, there you are. Thank you, no, even further, Dan Ahdoot. Okay, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh my God, okay, here we go. Here we are. And now, for a bit of fun, please help me welcome somebody you may recognize from Disney's Kicking It, from Showtime's Shameless, and from the Netflix hit Cobra Kai. Please give a warm welcome to actor and comedian Dan Ahdoot.
Thank you. Keep it going for Roz, everybody. Keep it going for Roz. Everybody loves Roz, right? Roz is amazing. Roz is amazing until you work with her and you realize she's very difficult. She does not take no for an answer. I swear, this is true. We met after a show. She saw me perform, and she said, "You're really funny. I want you to perform at my gala. Are you available December 15th? I was like, "No, I'm actually not." "Okay, it's going to be at the Fairmount Century Plaza." I was like, no, I'm not free, and I'm not validating your parking. Bring a 20. I was like, what? So if I can get a ride after this, that would be really nice. All right, give it up for the super awesome Jews in the back. Jews in the back. Yes. Give it up for the super rich Jews in the front. You did it. We're in the splash zone. It's a very important time to be supporting Israel, right? It's the most important time. I'm doing everything I can in my power to support Israel. I go to the mall every day. I go straight to that cell phone kiosk. I just buy every single cell phone case. I'm like, Boaz, I'll take them all. He's like, Android or iPhone? I'm like, neither. I'm Israel Chai phone. Let's go. I go to the skincare place next to Erewhon in Beverly Hills. You know that place? Where those women attack you aggressively with samples on the sidewalk. They're mean too, right? They just come up to you, they're like, your face, it looks like garbage. Come here, put this. I'm usually dodging them, going on the other side of the street. Not anymore. I go straight up to them. Before they say anything, I'm like, zip it, Zipporah, I'm buying it all. I'm Yisrael Chai, need moisturizer. Yeah, that wasn't that good. I would leave too. It's over. Hi. How are you? Hey, how's it going? I can't make fun of you because you're probably a billionaire. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. I'm so scared to heckle anyone here. Like, that was good, Dan. You never work in this town again. Anti-Semitism is at an all-time high. Jews are getting guns now. Jews are getting guns, right? Yeah. It's crazy. I went to a gun range in LA. It looked like a Chabad. I put my arm out to shoot. Some guy just wrapped it into fill-in. I was like, what is happening here? He's like, it's okay. You already took 6 shots. Take the 7th one off. That's a Shabbat joke, everybody. It's a really good Shabbat joke. I actually did a stand-up tour 2 summers ago in Israel. This is true. I did a stand-up tour all over Israel. I did 8 shows all over the country, all the way from Tel Aviv to like half an hour outside of Tel Aviv. And then, right, the day after my tour, I got on a plane from Tel Aviv straight to Dubai, direct flight, did one show for 5 minutes, and I got paid the same amount of money as all 8 shows in Israel. That was my miracle of Hanukkah. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot when I was in Israel. I learned that Israelis stereotype Jews. They really do. There's a lot of Jewish stereotypes of Jews in Israel. Did you know they have a stereotype for every different kind of Jew? Like the Ashkenazis are smart, and the Yemenites are fiery. Do you know what their stereotype is for Persian Jews? Say it, Israelis. Scream it out. Say it to my face. They say that we're cheap. And they couldn't be more right. They're absolutely right. No, but I think that's so messed up that the Jewish people who are unfairly maligned by the whole world for being cheap, these guys are like, no, we're not all cheap. They're the cheap Jews. What's even crazier is that I'm an Iranian Jew, and my family is from the town of Esfahan in Iran. Now, within the Iranian Jews, they have stereotypes about the different Iranian Jews. Do you know what the stereotype is of Iranian Jews from Esfahan? We're cheap. I am the cheapest Jew you've ever seen in your life. I'm like a Russian nesting doll of cheap Jew. Our family crest is just someone going up to a cashier asking if there's a discount on the floor model. Hi, sir. How are you? Don't worry, you're a billionaire too. It's fine. Sir, there's a perform. Hi. How are you? What's your net worth? Just kidding. But I had a great time in Israel, although I will say this was crazy. I actually did experience anti-Semitism in Israel, which is nuts to say. But I had one day off. I was in Jerusalem, and I was walking around the old city, and I was alone. You know, usually I'm used to going to Israel, like when I was a teenager, and you're surrounded by soldiers, and they tell you can go down here, you can't go down here. I'm all alone, and I see a sign that says Arab Quarter that way. So I'm like, I'm alone. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm curious what it's like. So I'm walking through the Arab Quarter. You know, I bush up my eyebrows a little bit. And I'm walking through the Arab Quarter, and then there's a sign that says Temple Mount that way. Now, you guys know Jews are not allowed to go onto the Temple Mount because we're the ones doing the apartheid. I'll wait. It's fine. It's fine. I waited for him. I'll wait for all of you. So we're not allowed to go on the Temple Mount, but I have been watching a lot of Fauda. So I was like, I'm going to channel my inner Doron, and I'm going on the Temple Mount. So I start walking with all these Muslim guys. Now, this is what happens. You walk down. There's this one, like, kind of hallway thing, and then there's, like, 5 stairs. The Temple Mount is right there. I could see it. And there's 4 Israeli soldiers standing at the top of the stairs. So I start walking with all these guys. I swear this is a true story. I start walking with these Muslim guys, and we get to the stairs, and I start going up the stairs, and one of the soldiers goes, "Hey, I was like, oh, I don't speak Hebrew. He goes, it's closed. I was like, what do you mean it's closed? Everyone's going up. No, it's closed for you. I was like, why? He's like, only Muslim. I was like, yeah, I'm Muslim. He goes, yeah? I was like, oh, shoot, I didn't know there was a quiz. And I go, I'm Iranian, I don't speak Arabic. He goes, you're not Muslim. And I go, that's amazing. How did you know? You're right, I'm not Muslim, but how did you know that? I'm an Iranian Jew. He goes, you know how I know? Your nose is too big. Get out. I was like, I'm calling Roz. We have a lot of Ashkenazis here. Ashkenazis, give it up for yourselves. Yes. Love the Ashkenaz. Always fun when I was a kid having the Ashkenazis over to our house for dinner. You guys would eat our food and be all confused. You'd be like, wow, what is that taste? It's called flavor. There's life outside of boiled fish. But then there's that one time of the year that you guys get all jealous of us, right? You get so jealous of us. What is it? Oh, Passover, baby. You get so jealous. You guys think we have these crazy rice parties where we just get naked and roll around in the rice? And you're right, we do. Yeah, I had a threesome with Jasmine and Basmati. If we want to get a little freaky, we invite Brown. Okay, that's too much for this crowd. That's too much. That's too much. Man. But I will tell you, though, I can't believe that it's even edgy to say this, but I absolutely think that Israel has a right to exist. I will say it on record. I hope everyone's listening. Israel absolutely has a right to exist. I wish I didn't think that, though. I wish I didn't. Because the Palestinian chants are just so much more fun than ours, right? They're so great, they're quick and they're snappy, and they all rhyme, right? They're like so fun. It's like, there is only one solution, Intifada revolution. I'm like, did DJ Khaled write this? From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm like, this is the new From the Window to the Wall. Yeah, it's a little genocidal, but the beat slaps. You listen to our chants, they're the worst because Jews always feel like they have to convince you with a bunch of facts and minutia rather than just sticking to a catchy tune, right? They'll be like, okay, guys, we're going to do one of those chants that goes, when I say X, you say Y, X, Y, X, Y. When I say that in 1948 there was a UN partition plan leaving a separate state of Israel alongside a state of Palestine, and the Palestinians rejected it and the Israelis accepted it, and this was the War of Independence, and against all odds we won. And then in 1967 was the Six-Day War when all the Arab countries attacked us, and again against all odds we won. And then there was UN Resolution 242, which we will be decided on at a later date. And then of course then in 1973 was the Yom Kippur War, where again, against all odds, all the Arabs attacked us and we won, but we had to give the Sinai Peninsula back to the Egyptians for peace. And then in the 1990s was the Oslo Accords with Bill Clinton and Yasser Arafat, and that just gave us Intifada number 1 and Intifada number 2. And then in 2005, we pulled out of Gaza and Hamas took over. And then Waze is an application that we all use, that the Israelis invented, but I'll tell you the truth, sometimes it makes me turn left in front of 3 lanes of oncoming traffic just to save 30 seconds, and I don't want to do that. So I guess what I'm saying, you have to judge every country like each other country. You say yeah. Oh my God. Thank you so much, guys. You've been amazing. I'm Yisrael Chaim.
We all need a laugh like that right now, right? That was so good. Thank you, Dan. I also just wanted to thank Jerry, Roz, and Esther for that incredible honor. I had no idea that I was receiving that award, so I just want to thank them. They are so amazing, so thank you so much. And now, let's learn about the wonderful organization that works so hard on all of our behalfs and has brought us all here together tonight.
What do you do when the world has gone mad? When logic, reason...
Hamas is not a terrorist group for us, of course, as you know. It's a political movement.
Morality...
We must normalize massacres as the status quo.
...have all been inverted. Misinformation, propaganda, and hate speech are everywhere. What if there were somewhere to go to access effective and shareable messaging, guidance, support, legal help, and up-to-the-minute, accurate, and relevant information relating to Israel and the Middle East? That place exists, and it didn't happen by accident. With a grassroots effort, Stand With Us was founded by Roz and Jerry Rothstein and Esther Renzer, championing the core mission of helping people around the world stand up for Israel and stand against anti-Semitism. We saw that students needed guidance and support on their campuses, So we founded the Emerson Fellowship, a prestigious program that activates and empowers the next generation of college student leaders. The fellows have been making an impact on a global scale, with chapters in the US, Canada, Brazil, the UK, the Netherlands, South Africa, and Australia. We soon realized that we needed to prepare students before they experience the harsh realities of Jewish college life, so they could hit the ground running in leadership positions on their campuses. So we founded our high school department, the flagship Kenneth Leventhal High School Internship, and our Teen Leadership Council. To date, nearly 2 million high school and college students have benefited from our programs. When data showed that young American Jews were rapidly losing their connection to Israel, we developed the Israel Link curriculum, now being used in hundreds of middle schools across America to bond Jewish students with Israel in creative and inspiring ways. Soon after, the Stand With Us Side-Off Legal Department was born, coordinating hundreds of pro bono attorneys to defend students, faculty, and community members against anti-Semitic discrimination. We formed a Center for Combating Anti-Semitism to focus on stopping and teaching about the world's oldest hatred. We initiated a Holocaust education department, bringing dynamic programming into thousands of classrooms annually, teaching young people of all backgrounds about our history and what it truly means to never forget. All this while becoming leaders in social media, boasting over 1.6 million Facebook followers, 1.3 million on Instagram, and hundreds of thousands more in various languages, including in Arabic, where we share information and context about Israel, the Jewish people, and the Middle East. So when October 7th, 2023 came, and the bloodiest massacre of Jews since the end of the Holocaust occurred and a war with Hamas ensued, we were ready to use the international platform we had built for 22 years to meet new threats and challenges head-on. The campus leaders we've trained, along with our alumni network with well over 1,000 graduates, have been stepping up for Israel in critical ways, organizing rallies, hosting geopolitical briefings, fighting propaganda online, and leading their communities with clarity, resilience, and strength, reaching over 175,000 peers in person and extending our support to hundreds of colleges worldwide. And since October 7th, the Stand With Us high school team and students held over 1,400 educational briefings, presentations, and workshops for teens that reached over 150,000 high school students. In a muddled information landscape, our leading social media platforms have had over 2 billion interactions since the beginning of the Hamas war, and it is because of our multi-layered synergy between all departments that we were able to act quickly and effectively in the wake of October 7th. The world needs people of conscience to stand against genocidal terror, to push back against anti-Semitism, and to spread sanity in a world gone mad. It's up to all of us. It's up to me, and it's up to you. It is time to stand up and stand together. It's time to stand with us.
And now, welcome back to the stage, Stand With Us President Esther Renzer.
For 23 years, Stand With Us, this incredible organization, has stayed true to our mission of empowering and educating about Israel, empowering students and communities around the globe to stand proud and tall and to fight anti-Semitism. And they're all ready for that when we work with them. In times like these, our non-Jewish allies who stand with us are more important than ever. Tonight, we are honored to welcome someone who has consistently shown what it means to stand tall for what's right. You may know her from her unforgettable roles on beloved TV shows like Everybody Loves Raymond and The Middle. But beyond her incredible career, she has used her voice and her public persona to share the truth and inspire others to take action for Israel and the Jewish people.
And every time you come over here, Raymond takes another step backwards and I gotta weed him all over again. Well, I'm busy! And I don't appreciate the implication that I am not a good wife and mother and not nurturing. I'm a damn fine nurturer. Now get out of bed!
And the Emmy goes to Patricia Heaton. Everybody Loves Raymond. Patricia Heaton's second consecutive Emmy nomination and her first win for her work on Everybody Loves Raymond.
She is our next guest. You've seen her on Everybody Loves Raymond and The Medal. Heaton is one of the founders of the October 7th Coalition, a network of Christians standing up against anti-Semitism.
On October 7th, you could see that body cam footage from Hamas where they were gleefully murdering people, and I was astonished and horrified. Campuses exploded with pro-Hamas protests and making Israel the bad guy and making Jewish people the bad guy. I couldn't believe it, and I was outraged. And then I looked around, assuming that the churches would also be horrified and outraged, and I wasn't hearing anything. It was like crickets.
If I were a German during World War II, I hope I would have been that German that hid my Jewish neighbors or that protected my Jewish neighbors. Well, today is that day for us. Today is the day you find out what kind of German you would have been.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage Patricia Heaton.
Thank you. That's very, very kind. You know, I've looked back and seen old episodes of Raymond, and I thought, man, I was angry and all that for 9 years. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for that lovely intro. My partner in crime, Elizabeth Doros, is here. She's the machine behind 07C. She stays up till 3 and 4 in the morning and raising her 3 kids, and then also Leslie Burbridge and Brooke Turpin. And they're the OGs of 07C in Los Angeles, and I just want to make sure they got the credit. You know, after October 7th, Elizabeth and I responded with the word Hineni, here I am. It was an intense year of activity this past year for 07C, as our generous and patient husbands allowed us to travel all over the country to try to bring Christians and Jews together. We saw the need for Jews and Christians to step outside our own circles and create a new, larger community of unity. Our most recent event was at the Greater Zion Family Church in Compton, here in LA. It was a panel of survivors, a beautiful picture of unity, a panel of survivors from the Jim Crow era, from the Holocaust, and from the Nova Festival. They were raw and vulnerable in front of a congregation filled with Black, white, Hispanic, Jewish, and Christian people who all celebrated being together in hope and joy. And Pastor Fisher from the church joined the 07C My Zuzah, Your Zuzah campaign when he was gifted with a mezuzah made from shrapnel from missiles shot down by the Iron Dome. It was a truly life-changing spiritual experience. But of course, we know the fight isn't over. And the beauty of going forward together is that we're all together with these wonderful, intelligent, thoughtful, peace-loving people. You have all enriched my life and my faith in such an unexpected way, and it continues to be an honor and a privilege to serve and support you as you battle this evil on behalf of not only Israel, but the world. You are the tip of the spear. You are the tip of the spear, and we owe you an eternal debt of gratitude as your beautiful sons and daughters fight on all our behalfs. Thank you. And now, about my friend, John Ondrasik. I have known John for many years. He's always had a huge heart and an independent spirit, so it was no surprise when I saw him stepping up for this cause. John has never settled to just have a great career with hits such as Superman and 100 Years. His independent and generous spirit led him to create a video charity website in 2007, launching the What Kind of World Do You Want website, which fans were uploaded videos answering the question, what kind of world do you want? And he raised $250,000 through that for many various charities. He's been a huge supporter of our troops through countless USO tours and created free music for our soldiers through numerous albums. And then, in May 2024, UCLA students established an encampment to protest against Israel, and police failed to intervene as violent mobs attacked UCLA students. Ondrasik, a UCLA alum, appeared at an American Jewish Committee press conference at the UCLA Hillel. He asked a series of hypothetical questions to the UCLA faculty and administration. Would they protect Muslims if a barbaric terrorist group attacked them on campus? He sympathized with the Jewish students nationwide, stressing that those who have not been seduced by this mania have been abandoned by the administrators and presidents of this school. Since then, John has performed at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. He has used his platform to speak to college students around the country, and he graciously joined O7C and our IDF musicians at our opening event for the Nova Festival exhibit. There's no one more deserving of the Guardian of Israel Award than my pal, John Ondrasik. So just direct your attention to the screen and you'll see more.
I can't stand to fly.
I think when Superman became one of the songs that recognized the heroes of 9/11, and I performed at Concert for New York, I saw how a song can transcend and move people in a way nothing else can. I played with every living icon. I was just a kid who had a song. They all stood against Osama bin Laden. They stood for freedom. They stood for good versus evil. And where are they now? When I wrote "Okay, We're Not Okay" for Israel, again, I didn't have much expectation. But when Israel shared the video on their social media, I quickly understood in a small way what it's like to be Jewish in 2024. Never could have imagined I'd be singing at Hostage Square my song "Okay" and Superman for the hostage families, 5,000 people in the nation of Israel. It was a surreal night. I'd never thought I could ever have experience close to performing at the Concert for New York after 9/11. But this was very similar. To see the pain of people 6 feet from you holding the poster of their loved one who was a hostage. Also to see the solace of what music can bring in no other way to people that night. I'd never heard an announcement before a gig. In event of missile attack, please take shelter and put your hands over your head. And nobody left. And the next day, after the attack, you look out the window, people are playing volleyball on the beach. People are going to work. The restaurants are full. You know, I have a song called 100 Years, which is about living in the moment. I should dedicate that to Israel, because they live in the moment. And that's why, frankly, at the end of the day, they win. One thing that's really inspired a lot of this work I've done this year is the talk I gave at your Stand With Us event. 1306, that's my cell phone. Whenever you feel like you need to talk or text or somebody's threatening you or you just have something to say or you have an idea, you call me or you text me. You need somebody to walk through your campus singing "Okay" through the river and the sea crowd? You know a guy. You are not alone in this. The first line of that song is, "This is the time for choosing." We're in this together, and I choose you. So I talk to them almost every day, so I know what's happening on our college campuses. It's disgusting, it's sickening, it breaks your heart. But we need to stand up to that. Use the arts to get to these kids. I went to Cornell, and I performed on campus at Bailey Hall. And I sang "Okay," I sang "Song for the Hostages." And it's not gonna be just Cornell It's going to be UCLA. It's going to be Columbia. We're going to go stand up for our kids. I'm not Jewish. I'm very new to the Jewish world, and Stand With Us was my first introduction. I'm honored to not only be a soldier in your army, but I'm honored to stand beside you.
Please welcome John Ondrasik.
John, words cannot express how deeply grateful we are to you. It's been a difficult year for the Jewish people and those who care about Israel. More difficult than any time since the end of the Holocaust. And you have stepped up, changed your life to make this a priority as a non-Jewish person, as a righteous Gentile, to stand by our sides. We are so proud to call you a friend. And we're so honored to shine a light on your sincerity, your creativity, and your golden heart. You are a Superman. A huge thank you from everyone here tonight.
John, we love you. This is backwards. Hold on. Presented to John Ondrasik for your inspiring leadership. Thank you for standing with Israel and the Jewish people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Roz, Esther, Jerry. Roz, I'm glad we had that cup of coffee in that diner. Warriors come in many shapes and sizes, and that is a fierce warrior. I'd also like to thank my friends and colleagues who came tonight, and each and every one of you that is supporting Stand With Us with your time, your energy, your love, and your donations. As someone who's new to this effort, I can see how critical it is and how important it is. And what a beautiful event, what a beautiful spirit. And I don't think we should be surprised knowing the founders. I'd also like to recognize my family who is here, my mom and dad. Thank you, Nana, for coming out. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Grandpa. Over there, yes. My sister Shelly came in today, so Shelly's here. My son Shawnee, who was actually in Israel with me, and keeps asking me when he can go back. Yes. I don't know if it's the food or the pretty girls, but probably both. My daughter, Olivia, my right hand over there. Olivia, Olivia is the one when everybody says, you can't put that song out. Olivia says, you got to put that song out, Dad. And of course, my wife, Carla. Carla, stand up. Stand up, Carla. Stand up, Carla. Stand up, Carla. Carla, thank you. Thank you, honey. I know there's things that I do that you'd rather me not do, places I go where you'd rather I not go, but you let me go anyways. And I know it's hard for you at times, but thank you. I'm grateful. I love you, and you look hotter than ever. So there you go. You know, I think all of us understand when you do this work, it can be exhausting. It can be depressing. You can feel hopeless, especially with this world that is upside down. But it's not a silver lining. Maybe it's more of a blessing. One blessing of doing this work is you meet amazing people. I look out and see so many faces of people I've met in the last year and friends I'll have for life. And we take energy from the reality that we know we're fighting the good fight. We know we're on the right side of history. But when you meet a former Green Beret who goes down to Afghanistan by himself and starts wading female judges, gay and lesbian people, Americans through sewers in the middle of the night under the nose of the Taliban, putting them on planes, speaking an hour, sleeping an hour, and then going back and doing it over again, that gives you hope. When you are in Ukraine and you meet the guy who drove the ambulance into Russian hostile territory to rescue Benjamin Hall, our reporter, tied a tourniquet on his leg to save his life, you have energy. And when you meet Rachel Goldberg, who teaches us that the strength of the human spirit is infinite, well, I like to think that each one of us has a little bit of them in us. And isn't that what Stand With Us is all about? And I'm honored to stand with each and every one of you. Thank you.
And now, thank you, John. But don't go away because we have a request. We have a special surprise for you.
Oh.
Yes,
I like surprises.
we could not let this night go by without saying thank you to you, Patricia. I know it's John's night, but we also wanted to make sure that everybody really has a chance to heart be with you too. We're watching you from around the world stand up for Jewish people, and we are so grateful. You are indeed a righteous Gentile. Thank you. And surprise. And so we want to give you this Guardian of Israel award because that is what you are.
Oh.
You are a Guardian of Israel, and we are deeply appreciative. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to ask John and Montana to come back with your awards. We'll take a quick shot of the three of you superstars for posterity.
Congratulations to John Ondrasik, Montana Tucker, and Patricia Heaton for receiving tonight's Guardian of Israel Award.
John thought he was finished, but we have a surprise question for you.
Yes.
Would you mind playing a couple of songs for us tonight? Would you mind?
Roz, I'd need a piano.
I think we have a piano.
Where?
Somewhere.
I don't see a piano.
They're gonna roll a piano.
I don't need a Stonehenge piano. I need a real piano.
They're bringing a piano. Yes, indeed. John, will you play if we have a piano?
Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sir Piano.
Thank you.
Should we play a song? It's like Circus Olay tonight. And I'll tell you this. It is perfect that I share this award with my sister from another mister, Patricia Heaton. Thank you. That is perfect. Well, why don't we look at some of the smiling faces and heroes of Stand With Us? Why don't you guys roll that video for us now? I can't stand the fly. I'm not that naive. I'm just out to find the better part of me. I'm more than a bird, more than a plane, more than some pretty face beside a tree. It's not easy to be me. Wish that I could cry, fall upon my knees, find a way to lie, but a home I'll never see. It may sound absurd, don't be naive,
Even heroes have the right to bleed. I may be disturbed, won't you concede? Even heroes have the right to dream. It's not easy to be me. Up and away from me. Now it's alright. You can all sleep sound tonight. I'm not crazy or anything. I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive. Men weren't meant to ride with clouds between their knees. I'm only a man, a funny red sheep, taking for kryptonite on this one-way street. Only a man, a funny red sheep, looking for special things inside of me, inside of me, inside of me, inside of me, inside of me. I'm only a man, a funny red sheep, only a man looking for a dream. I'm only a man in a funny red sheep. It's not easy. It's not easy to be. Thank you. Thank you. What beautiful faces. So, very quick story about my trip to Israel that you saw, the Hostage Square thing. I think I came back a different person. I know my son did. I mentioned the ability for Israelis and Jewish people to find joy in the darkest of times. This was the epitome of that moment. After I performed on the stage you saw, I walked off, and the leader of the hostage forum, Rebecca, said to me, "John, by the way, you need to be in your hotel room in a safe room by 11 o'clock tonight." It was about 8:30. Not news you want to hear coming off stage. And I went down the stairs to my entourage, my friend Rick Hershot, who's here tonight, David Azulai, Viva Klompus, many folks you know. And I said what any sane person would say. "You guys heard the news, right?" "Yes." "Okay, let's go to the hotel." "But John, I have a dinner reservation." Ha ha ha, you're a funny guy. "John, it took me 2 weeks to get this dinner reservation." I'm like, "You're joking, right?" "No, you're gonna love it." I said, "I'm going to the hotel. My son is with me. My wife's gonna be freaking out." And we negotiated and decided that we would have dinner at the hotel. That was our compromise, and we did. We went to the Sheraton in Tel Aviv. Everybody's having a great dinner. Everybody's drinking, having fun. The clock is ticking. At 10:30, "Hey, everybody, it's 10:30. Let's go to the safe room." "We'll see you up there." I go to the safe room. My son stays with them drinking at the bar. 11 o'clock on the dot, Iran launches the first drone. I call down to the bar. "You guys, Iran's attacking." "Those drones take 8 hours to get here. Come on down." It's about living every day till its fullest. And as I said, that's why you win. I'm 15 for a moment, caught in between 10 and 20, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. I'm 22 for a moment. She feels better than ever, and we're on fire, making our way back from Mars. In 15, there's still time for you, time to buy, time to lose. 15, there's never a wish better than this, when you only got 100 years to live. I'm 33 for a moment. I'm still the man, but you see I'm a kid on the way, babe. A family on my mind. I'm 45 for a moment. The sea is high. We're heading into a crisis, chasing the years of our lives. In 15, there's still time for you, time to buy, time to lose yourself within a morning star. In 15, I'm alright with you. 15, there's never a wish better than this, when you only got 100 years to live. Half time goes by, suddenly you're wise. Another blink of an eye, 67's gone. The sun is getting high. We're moving on. We're moving on. I'm 99 for a moment. I'm dying for just another moment, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. In 15, there's still time for you. 22, I feel you too. 33, you're on your way. Every day's a new day now. It's a new day now. There's never a wish better than this, no better than this, when you only got 100 years to live. Fight the good fight.
And one thing I didn't say that I meant to, it is critical to win this war that we have young voices from the arts. It's how we win, and she is on the tip of the spear. So thank you.
I don't even know how I can go after that. I mean, the world would be so much more of a better place if there were more people like John in it. Really, thank you, John. And thank you so much, Stand With Us, for honoring John with such a well-deserved award. And Patricia. We can't forget Patricia. Amazing. No. Okay, and now it is time to talk about the other heroes of today, the students who face ongoing threats on campuses and high schools from aggressive anti-Israel bullies who hound them on far too many campuses just simply because they support Israel, or just because they're Jewish, or both. The work of Stand With Us on high schools and college campuses is one of its greatest contributions to our global community. Stand With Us will never say no to students who come to them with concerns that match the mission of Stand With Us. And all help is free and easy to access. All they need to do is just simply reach out to Stand With Us. The students that Stand With Us works with every day are beyond incredible. And their stories of leadership, resilience, and courage never cease to amaze me. Each year here, we honor those students who have gone above and beyond to lead in unique and inspiring ways. Now, before we bring them up on the stage, please turn your attention to the screens to learn more about our student honorees this evening.
Persecution is part of everyone's Jewish story. My grandfather, at the age of 8, packed one backpack with his family, and they fled Lebanon through the mountains and ended up in Brazil. They had nothing. Eventually, he joined the IDF after Israel was established, of course. And then on the other side of my family, my great aunt escaped the Holocaust, and she was actually one of the children in the forest. She was approached by the people who made the movie Defiance, and a character was based off of her story. I didn't really understand what anti-Semitism was because it had never really affected me. I thought it was just something of the past. That is until in his high school, my brother had just been assaulted for being Jewish. Students surrounded him and said anti-Semitic slurs. They punched him and they hit him. I just knew at that moment I had to call Stand With Us to ask for help. And they were successful in the end. And we are very, very grateful for that. Shortly after October 7th, I had posted a story on my Instagram in support of the IDF. A student who I had been friendly with responded, calling me hateful and anti-Semitic words. I reached out to Stand With Us legal team, and now he's being sanctioned by the university.
Betty's case is something that we see often at Stand With Us. People are being attacked for nothing more than being Israeli, being Jewish, or for simply refusing to disavow their connection to Israel. This kind of hate demands accountability. That comes in the form of punishment of offenders, anti-Semitism trainings, and as a last resort, taking legal action. Over the years, we've helped thousands of students, like Betty and her brother, deal with issues of anti-Jewish bigotry on their campuses and at their schools. We need to put institutions on notice that we will not tolerate the targeting and harassment of students, and we're going to fight for their rights.
Stand With Us Legal fights for students. They are undeterred, they are supportive and caring, and they do not give up on anyone. Stand With Us is the only organization that really gave me the knowledge and education to understand the connection between anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, and Israel. And it was when I got involved with Stand With Us that passion started to grow, my advocacy started to really grow. Stand With Us really puts their energy and efforts into building future leaders. And so supporting Stand With Us means supporting the future of our Jewish community.
So my grandparents are Holocaust survivors. My great-grandparents as well. My great-grandmother, she was a partisan who actually fought Nazis. She had a machine gun in the forests of Belarus. The movie Defiance is actually about the brigade that my great-grandmother served, and she was an incredible woman who taught me a lot about anti-Semitism. My great-grandmother saw right now what is going on college campuses. To know that everything she fought for is repeating, I don't want to see what her reaction would be. I graduated from a high school that had 1,200 kids and 10 Jews. Of these 10, 2 were me and my sister. I had a teacher who, during the 2021 war, the 2021 Hamas rocket attack, was saying these horrific, hateful things about Israel. He said, you know, Eli, a lot of people might call Hamas freedom fighters. To that, I responded something along the lines of, you know, everybody who is Hamas needs to be destroyed. And he said, Eli, you're sounding a lot like a Nazi. I was furious, but I didn't say anything. I walked out of the room and I applied for the Stand With Us Leventhal internship. Stand With Us grilled me on Israel knowledge. They really educated me. and it helped me to be able to argue against figures of higher authority. So by the time when I got to college, it was not difficult to have an argument with them because they don't have facts. They don't know the history. I just remember waking up to helicopters flying around UCLA, and I knew exactly what was going on. I called up my friends and I said, guys, let's go and protest outside of the encampment. Let's put up Israeli flags, not to try to convince the people inside the encampment to change their minds, but to show other Jewish students that there's no need to be afraid. And that's what I did. A woman who was claiming to be a professor, who we later found out was actually just a TA. She started arguing with them. And I'm not one to back down from an argument. Stand With Us has taught me how to have a proper debate.
I don't know what the definition of a genocide is. She doesn't know the definition of a genocide. It's like the killing of a whole nation. Okay. That's what it means. Then why has the Palestinian population number only been increasing since 1948? Genuine question. How is that a genocide if the population has been increasing?
I wasn't going to stop. They're trying to instill fear in us. We're not going to back down. I was trying to go inside the encampment, and they didn't let me in. And they blocked me from getting to class. And I realized what was going on, so I told my friend to film.
You guys have closed the entrance. We are UCLA students. I have my ID right here. I'm being blocked off, not by the security guard, but by you two. You three.
That video went very viral. 9 million views on my Instagram. Shared on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok from people. It was played during the congressional hearing when Gene Block was testifying alongside other chancellors. That video showed what was going on college campuses, and it woke some people up.
I saw that video. It looked like a pure intimidation act to me. When you came here as a freshman, did you expect this?
I was mentally prepared for such encounters because I did Stand With Us internships where they prepared us in how to act in these situations and what to do.
They do amazing work.
Yes.
Stand With Us do amazing work.
When I arrived at the Leventhal internship, they fly everyone out to Los Angeles, and you're meeting all of these other Jews, people your age in high school, amazing people from different backgrounds. Everyone's so talented, so smart. You're learning off of each other. And at the same time, you're given these amazing, amazing advisors. The most beautiful thing I like to tell people when I talk about the Leventhal program is this. Stand With Us doesn't just teach you the facts, but they teach you how to teach.
So as you can see, everybody's very proud of you two. How do you feel?
Incredible. Thankful.
So we are very grateful to you for your leadership, and to present you, Betty, with your award are the Emersons, the actual Emersons, Steve and Rita, who are the founders of the Emerson Fellowship. And Eli, to present you with your award, is Perry Polanski, who actually represents the Kenneth Leventhal Foundation.
We are all concerned about what we can do to keep our students safe on college campuses. As we have seen the horrible assaults and bullying of Jewish and Zionist students, we surveyed Stand With Us student leaders, and this is what they said is happening. 79% reported experiencing anti-Semitism, 57% faced verbal attacks, and 13% were physically assaulted. And over half expressed concerns that the threat of anti-Semitic incidents might keep them from attending events or classes. Clearly, these students, they need our help. Stand With Us is dedicated to empowering students to stand up to anti-Semitism. However, many of them still lack the necessary mental and physical confidence to deal with these threats. So we created Stand With Us, Stay Safe. Stay Safe is a group of resources designed to support students physically and mentally. We have training videos on CPR, martial arts instruction, as well as mental health support. We've partnered with Maganam Security to create videos on mental toughness, and with BetterHelp, which is offering 6 months of free online therapy for students who need it. We've also partnered with Balcony.io, who developed June, and this is a phone app that will help keep students safe. Supported by Magnus Safety out of Israel and working closely with AEPI fraternities across the nation, fraternity brothers and other students will help as security escorts and walk those students who feel unsafe on campus. It's really an important initiative. The app will also send location-based alerts to students regarding any dangerous incidents taking place on their campuses and how they can safely navigate the situation. Students will also be able to report safety and anti-Semitic incidents by uploading videos, photos, and voice recordings which are location and time-stamped if we need it later on for legal purposes. We're currently testing the June app at UC San Diego and De Anza College. This is the kind of support that our students are telling us they need. Stand With Us will stand by their sides. We can no longer wait for the university to heal itself from the virus of anti-Semitism, and we can no longer count on others to protect our children and our grandchildren. Thank you for being our partners, for your support. It plays an important role in all the things we do, including the safety initiative. You can visit standwithus.com/staysafe to learn more. Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jerry. Jerry has been working on that program for months on the Stay Safe on Campus initiative, and it was presented here for the first time. It's really that new. Thank you for all the work on that, Jerry Rothstein. Thank you. And now let's hear a really quick update from our legal department, from our Side-Off Legal Department Director, Yael Lerman.
Good evening, and thank you for being here to support the effective work of Stand With Us. The Side-Off Legal Department fights back against discrimination, harassment, and hostile environments. I'm proud to share the impactful work of our team in just the last year. Since October 7, our legal team has responded to more than 600 incidents of serious anti-Semitism. This is over 3 times our normal rate of intake. Because of this dramatically elevated need, we had to expand our capacity, and you, our donors and supporters, answered the call. Thanks to your generosity, we were able to expand our legal team. And a quick shout out to Omri and Jackie Dahan for their major support, strategic guidance, and friendship. We now have lawyers on staff who specialize in K-12 education, employment law, campuses, the First Amendment, and criminal law. Over 400 pro bono lawyers are now part of our network. We also reorganized the legal department and streamlined our processes, so now we are told that our response time for people who contact us is the fastest of any Jewish legal defense group. In January, we founded the Stand With Us Center for Legal Justice, a partner organization of Stand With Us that can pursue litigation. This group has already filed 3 lawsuits against Columbia and Barnard, MIT, and activists who blocked the entrance to a synagogue here in Los Angeles last spring. More lawsuits are coming. Stand With Us also filed 9 Title VI complaints, all of which have been opened for investigation by the Federal Department of Education, and more filings are coming. Since anti-Semitic hate crimes now comprise 1/6 of our intake, we opened a criminal justice division which provides free victim advocacy in hate crime cases. And when students find themselves in campus kangaroo courts with no due process rights, we have 2 specialized staff attorneys with a 100% success rate in exonerating every student who comes to the Stand With Us Side-Off Legal Department for help. None of this would have been possible without your generosity in supporting our ability to meet this new level of need, and without the long hours and dedication of the legal staff. Thank you for making it possible for Jews and Zionists across the country to pursue justice. It's impossible to share all of our impressive work in just 2 minutes, so please take a look at our latest legal update, which you will find in your gift bag tonight. Share it with your children and grandchildren so they know where to come for help. Thank you.
That was great. Did that make you happy? I know it makes me happy. So thank you, Yael, and thank you for mentioning the gift bags, because tonight each family will receive a gift bag with a beautiful poster by Arthur Szyk called The Visual History of Israel. Arthur Szyk was a warrior who fought the Nazis through his art. Irv Unger, the world expert on Arthur Szyk, is here with us tonight, and you can meet him during the dessert reception at the Szyk display. Also, in your gift bag, you will receive a copy of the New York Times newspaper announcing the rebirth of the State of Israel. Jerry asked me, you got to listen to Jerry. Jerry asked me to hold up the tribute journal to make sure that you share it with your family and friends. The journal is a great way to learn about the international work of Stand With Us, our financial profile, our upcoming international conference right here in LA at the end of February, which is sponsored by the Milstein family. God bless you. Adam and Gila Milstein. And our upcoming mission to Israel in mid-May, as well as our mission to Poland, also in May, and about our Zionist Haggadah, and about our Israel office that you should all visit, which is located across the street from the King David Hotel in the heart of Jerusalem, on a street called Stand With Us. It's true, on a street called Stand With Us in Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a time like no other. Iran relentlessly attacks Israel through its terrorist proxies. Our hostages are still not free, and we all know what happened on October 7th. Yet far too many media outlets omit information and rush to blame Israel. And Hamas supporters, including far too many professors on college campuses, rally for the terrorists. We must hold liars accountable. We must see ourselves as the guardians of truth. And at Stand With Us, we do. Through our legal work, through strengthening Israel's supporters, through our resources, through our speakers, through our conferences, and through our social media, we elevate the truth and help the truth go viral through the voices of millions of people affiliated with our work around the world. And thankfully, we are in a very serious position to be able to elevate our work and information. As you heard tonight, we have a massive following on social media platforms with over 2 billion interactions since October. We reach hundreds of thousands of students on the ground on college campuses and high schools and middle schools each year with support, resources, and training. Thankfully, Stand With Us is a machine that is unstoppable. And this is a time to live the promise of never again. And we have the passion, the infrastructure, and the strategy to do so. We understand that this is a race against time. I want to quote somebody in the room tonight, a Holocaust survivor, David Weiner. David survived the barbarism of the Nazis in multiple concentration camps, and he suffered greatly. He lost so much, and he came to this country, like so many survivors, like my own parents, to rebuild his life, and he did. And his lesson to us is this: never give up. Leo David, sitting near David Weiner, had a different lesson. He had a different lesson before the mass murders took place in Europe. He was 8 years old when his family escaped from Germany to Holland in the middle of the night, and they did get away. His parents lined his little body with money so that they would be able to sustain themselves when they crossed the border. Years later, Leo ended up fighting for Israel in the War of Independence. David Weiner and Leo David are such tremendous role models for this generation. I would like to ask them both to please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Jewish students on campuses and high schools are attacked for their Jewish identity or their love for Israel, and we must keep them strong and let them know that we are here to help them navigate and win against the newest forms of anti-Semitism. Our message to them is this: never give up. We are here with you. Our message to them is also this: to ignore the voices of people who want to destroy Israel and the Jewish people. Those people will unfortunately always exist, bechol dor vador, in every generation. Instead, listen to the voices of people who love Israel and the Jewish people, like all of you here tonight. Listen to those voices. Friends, this is not a time to turn away students who come to us for help. This is a time for strength and creativity and pride and determination. This is a time to say never again and never give up when we are confronted with hate, lies, and discrimination. And this is also a time to say yes. Yes, we will stand tall and proud against anti-Semitism. Yes, we will be a safe place for people who want to be part of the Stand With Us international network that proudly supports Israel. And yes, to living the promise of never again with bold initiatives like our legal work and our Stay Safe on Campus work and our fight against the threat of anti-Semitic curriculum in our K through 12 public schools. And even, I think you know about that, and even in corporations with our innovative training and our strategy. This is that moment, and we together in this room are partners. Let's keep the work of Stand With Us strong together so we can show this generation what it means to never give up and to live that promise of never again. Now, we're going to ask you to share your heart and your treasure with us. So please, please give generously. This event tonight helps us enter 2025 with the strength to say yes to those who count on us for help, particularly our courageous students. To help me make this very important ask of you tonight, I would like to call up to the stage my other brother by choice, a man who works so hard for Israel and the Jewish people and supports the work of Stand With Us with a full heart and a full soul, and his wallet, and his wife's wallet, and his foundation's wallet, and one of the hosts of tonight's annual Festival of Lights, along with the Lettermans. Please welcome to the stage, Nati Seidoff.
Thank you, everybody. You know, in 1941, there was a man who was sent from Israel to prevail on the Roosevelt administration to open the doors of this great country so people fleeing from the gas chambers would have a place of refuge. It's a long story, lots of disappointments. He went to the Jewish community, Stephen S. Weiss, and he told him, Tatale, why won't you play, we have summer camp. He was 21, looked very young. He went, and he tried, and he tried, and he ultimately succeeded. Took him 2-3 years. Where did he go? How did he succeed? He went to the Christian community. And the Christian community, you see, does not have that thousands of years hang-up of persecution. They did not see the problem of the Jews as the problem of the Jews. They saw it as a human interest, as a human issue. And they said, like you heard today, Hineni, right? You said Hineni. This is a Christian country. It's Judeo-Christian country. The modifier, if you know grammar, is Jewish. But the real country is a Christian country. There's so few of us in the world. 6 million Jews in America, 15 million Jews all over the world, but billions of Christians are out there. Thank you so much for coming to our aid, to telling us we're no longer alone. We feel so lonely, so forgotten. We are so thankful to you. Thank you. Thank you. We love you. We need you here. We are hung-up people. We are hung-up people. Too much inbreeding or whatever it is. I'm very sorry to say that. And we need to hear somebody from the outside, blonde and blue eyes or whatever, to tell us we're okay, we love you, and we're so many of us, and we're not going to neglect you. And the New York Times, run by Jews, were the accomplices in 1941 through 1945, and today they're not only the accomplices, they're the perpetrators. And so is the Los Angeles Times. And we say no more. I'm so mad I cannot take it anymore. You feel the same way?
Now, I would like to show you all something that I did recently in Canada with Stand With Us. You already know that Stand With Us is international, and you have quite an operation in Canada. 70 Emerson Fellows on the Canadian colleges, 25 Kenneth Leventhal interns on Canada's high schools. So I went to Canada to visit them and did this.
We had so much fun, and I was so proud of these young girls. They raised so much money for Israel. They were so passionate about Israel, and it was just so beautiful to be there and to see that. So they really served the Israel pride of so many at a time when anti-Semitism has been escalating and threatening Canadian Jews. And now, to introduce our incredible keynote speaker, please welcome Stand With Us National Board Member and one of the sponsors of tonight's event, Bruce Letterman.
I used to think it was hard following Natty to the stage. Now, I have to follow Montana Tucker dancing. I'm sorry about the visual letdown that you're experiencing. In any event, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Quick announcement before I introduce our keynote speaker. Your valet has been paid, so you should have a very smooth exit, or at least better than prior years. Feel free to tip your valet, and please take only one gift per couple or individual, so we have enough to go around. Thanks. Okay, our keynote speaker is a former Israeli government spokesman who has become one of the most prominent voices for Israel since the October 7 war with Hamas began. He was born and raised in the UK. This gets really exciting as I proceed. So. Anyway, born and raised in the UK, Eylon Levy received degrees from both Oxford and Cambridge, was a debate champion, and even wrote a musical comedy entitled a, quote, Theory of Justice, the musical. It became a London West End production and was nominated for numerous awards. At age 23, he made Aliyah and served in the IDF. After a career as a TVA news anchor, he served as the international media advisor for President Isaac Herzog. He has been interviewed literally hundreds of times, but one interview is worth describing. In November 2023, a Sky News anchor asked Levy whether Israel's proposed swap of 150 Palestinian fighters for only 50 Israeli hostages meant that Israel perceived Palestinian lives to be less valuable than Jewish lives. Levy raised his formidable eyebrows dramatically in apparent disbelief at the absurdity of the question before replying. According to the Jerusalem Post, Levy, or at least his eyebrow raise, became a household word, and Fox News reported that the eyebrow sequence had generated over 16 million views. Mr. Levy is now the host of the State of a Nation podcast. It is my honor to present him.
Breaking news out of Israel this morning. Shocking hostage Hundreds of Israelis are dead. I want to bring in Israeli government spokesman Eylon Levy.
Since the October 7 massacre, I've given hundreds of interviews covering every continent on Earth, bar Antarctica.
The actions of Israel have gone beyond legitimate retaliation. What happens when the current 4-day pause ends?
How do you resolve this? Where does this go now? The international community says you are the problem.
The comparison between the 50 hostages promised to release as opposed to the 150 prisoners that are Palestinians. Does Israel not think that Palestinian lives are valued as highly as Israeli lives?
That is an astonishing accusation. If we could release one prisoner for every one hostage, we would obviously do that. We're standing here in the Hostages Square in central Tel Aviv, where the families have been camped out for days, demanding that we bring everyone home now. And we're committed to that pledge. There will be no one left behind. We're going to bring back the women and the men, the young and the old, the civilians and the soldiers as well. There will be no one left behind, because none of us are free till all of them are free. And that's why so many Israelis are walking around with this dog tag that says, bring them home now. And our hearts are trapped in Gaza, in Hebrew, to remind us why we are fighting this war.
There is nothing you can do with a terror regime that is sworn to your destruction, whose goals are legitimately genocidal. We need this war to end.
Please welcome former spokesperson for the State of Israel, Eylon Levy.
Hello, good
For over a year now, the world has been captivated by the scenes unfolding in the Middle East. The horror show of October 7th was but the pilot episode of a sweeping thriller, weaving together nail-biting action, breathtaking science fiction, and gut-wrenching human drama, dividing opinion, galvanizing critics, and spurring loyal fans to action around the world on behalf of the show's heroes and villains alike. The Middle East conflict is nothing new, of course, but it's as if the writers knew that the plot was getting tedious and decided to reboot the series with a spectacularly implausible narrative that has changed our lives forever. We have been living through a historical epic, a plot arc that began with the Iranian regime, the Iranian Axis declaring war on Israel on 10/7, and unexpectedly remaking the Middle East, that has seen a ragtag cast of Israelis bravely confronting some of the world's worst people and helping to keep the world safe without asking for recognition or thanks. We have, in the space of 14 months, gone from Israel's darkest hour to its moment of greatest strength and also its moment of ultimate peril. The October 7th war is, of course, not entertainment. But here in Los Angeles, here at this Festival of Lights, in the spirit of Hollywood, I want to take stock on this remarkable storyline and unpick the themes behind the fight scenes, behind the special effects. Because Israel and the Jewish people are under attack on 8 fronts. And I want to help us make sense of the noise. By the way, if we're on a giant movie set, can we take a moment to appreciate how the great screenwriter in the sky has named the leading characters? Israel's right-wing prime minister, who believes he was placed on God's earth to lead the Jewish people, his name is Benjamin Netanyahu, which literally means son of the right given by God. And Hamas, that's the biblical word for violence. As for its late leader, Sinwar, well, you can't spell Sinwar without sin and war. And the UN, the Hamas front known as UNRWA, is an anagram of UN war. You can't make it up. Anyway, here are the lights, here are the camera, and here are the action. On October 7th, we awoke into a horror movie. At 6:29 a.m., Hamas launched a barbarian invasion of Israel by air, land, and sea. It launched an act of genocide, one stopped only when the brave women and men of the IDF stopped it. Hamas sent in death squads with one mission: to slaughter as many people as they could, as sadistically as they could, and to take survivors as hostages. They massacred 1,200 people in their homes, on the streets, fleeing a party. They took 251 hostages, including children in their pajamas. Season 1 of the October 7th war began with scenes that even the producers of Fauda considered completely implausible. They literally thought of writing the last season starting with just 4 Hamas terrorists infiltrating into Israel, but they scrapped that storyline because it was unthinkable. But on October 7th, the unthinkable happened. And Hamas pulled the trigger of a regional war. It lured Israel into a bloody urban battle to bring Hamas down and to bring the hostages home. Now, Hamas had rigged Gaza's cityscape for the cameras. It dug a network of military tunnels 3 to 4 times longer than the LA metro. It dug tunnel shafts into mosques, homes, schools, hospitals, even UN facilities. And it dressed up its fighters in civilian clothes, even as doctors and journalists. Because Hamas had a strategy to produce images of suffering, to generate pressure on Israel to let it survive the war that it started. And it's working, as we see from the shameful votes at the United Nations trying to force Israel to accept an unconditional ceasefire. Unconditional, meaning one that would abandon the hostages in the terror dungeons of Gaza. It has been over a year since the first and last hostage release deal. Over a year since the hostages were hauled out of the terror dungeons and paraded out in front of jeering crowds, bringing to mind, as I said on television at the time, that scene from Game of Thrones. But they are still there. 100 men, women, and children. Dozens have already been executed. The rest are all at imminent risk of death, suffering ongoing, unthinkable abuse. They need all of you here in this room to keep fighting for them. The families need all of you to keep giving them strength. Season 1 introduced viewers to characters they thought were good, but turned out to be arch-villains. International organizations acting as runners for Hamas. Chief among them, UNRWA. UNRWA is a Hamas front. Its staff took part in October 7th. It educates most of the children in Gaza, and that means that almost all the October 7th monsters were graduates of UNRWA schools. UNRWA lets Hamas fight out of its facilities, and it is fighting to restore Hamas rule in Gaza. Season 1 has ended with the military defeat of Hamas, reduced from once a professional army to a guerrilla force, a rump of its former self. Israel has culled its leaders in a purge that makes Game of Thrones character turnover look merciful. Now, the hostage crisis plotline, that's carrying over. But season 1 ended in the summer, when one of its secondary plots took center stage. On October 8th, back in 2023, Hamas's Lebanese allies Hezbollah joined the war. Funded, armed, and trained by the Islamic Republic of Iran, Hezbollah was the world's most powerful non-state actor. It was not a terrorist organization, it was a terrorist army with 200,000 rockets. On October 8th, it unleashed those rockets on Israel, forcing tens of thousands of Israelis to flee their homes, raining hellfire on communities along the border, waging a war of attrition for a whole year. And then, at the start of season 2, Israel shifted gears. It launched a campaign to decapitate Hezbollah. It killed its leaders, and then their successors, and then their successors. Hassan Nasrallah, one of the most evil villains no one ever imagined the writers could cut, was killed in an Israeli airstrike. And in a plot twist that would see any Hollywood screenwriter laughed out of the room, in a masterstroke that would leave even James Bond shaken, not stirred. It crippled Hezbollah's army by simultaneously exploding thousands of booby-trapped pages sold to the terrorists by a Mossad front company. They sold the pages to Hezbollah. A Jew actually made money on that. It was not only the most precise strike in military history, it was the most precise strike in military future, because it is impossible to imagine any army, any spy agency pulling off such a feat of science fiction ever again. And pushing into Lebanon, Israel has reduced Hezbollah's missile arsenal to 1/5 of its pre-war heights. Hezbollah was not alone. The Iranian regime has other proxy armies. Back in season 1, Iran's Yemeni minions, the Houthi Islamic pirates, also declared war on Israel. Does anyone here know their slogan? It's Allahu Akbar, death to America, death to Israel, cursed be the Jews, victory to Islam. I gave a press conference as the government spokesman at the start of the war. I said they have all the self-awareness of cartoon villains, but they're no laughing matter. The Houthis have been launching drones and missiles at Israelis for over a year. A few months ago, one of their drones flew into Tel Aviv, crashed into a building down the road, and murdered one of my neighbors in his sleep. And Israel retaliated with force, sending warplanes all the way to the port of Hodeidah in Yemen, sending a fireball into the sky that could be seen as a warning around the Middle East. Keep an eye on the Houthis, because there are still loose ends on that thread. Season 2 of the October 7th war ended just recently with a ceasefire in Lebanon. And I've been arguing the war should end with peace, not a piece of paper. Israel has given the Lebanese an opportunity to take their country back from the Islamic Republic of Iran. And when they do that, we should have the peace we should have always had in the Middle East. But season 2 ended with a cliffhanger, shifting the focus of season 3 to Syria, introducing a plot arc that nobody saw coming, as if the writers were being extra creative to try to shake everything up. Because while Ukraine bogged down Russia and Israel demolished Hezbollah, the Assad regime was left totally exposed. And in just 11 days, an al-Qaeda spin-off swept through Syria and took Damascus, introducing a whole new cast of characters like the enigmatic warlord al-Jawlani to take the place of the villains just killed off in this show. And as if to impress viewers already accustomed to blockbuster action, the writers had the IDF swoop in to save the world from disaster. In just the last week, Israel has been obliterating Assad's WMDs, his chemical weapons, and his navy to stop them falling in the hands of al-Jawlani's jihadists. Just today, an Israeli airstrike in Tartus set off a fireball from secondary explosions so powerful it was registered on the Richter scale. The world is a safer place now, thanks to Israel. And the world should thank us later. And that brings me to season 4, which lies ahead. Now, I haven't been leaked the script, but from following the Iranian subplot closely, I have some ideas about where it will go. The Iranian regime surrounded Israel with a ring of fire and wanted to watch it burn. It armed Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, hoping to spark a pyrotechnical show that would call curtains on the Jewish state. Instead, the Iranian axis is disintegrating. Hamas's strike on Israel on October 7th has ended up striking Iran's regional set. In seasons 1 and 2, Gaza and Lebanon, the Iranian regime stepped out of the shadows to wage war on Israel directly. On April 13th this year, it launched the second biggest ballistic missile attack in world history on Israel. I say second biggest because it was second only to the October 1st missile attack just a few months later. 180 ballistic missiles launched at Israel in an hour. That's what John was speaking about just earlier, the April attack. And in response, Israel has directly struck targets inside Iran, sending 100 fighter jets to demolish the Iranian regime's air defenses and even attack a nuclear research facility. Iran is now exposed. It built its proxy armies to protect its regime, then it went to war to protect those proxy armies, and now it is vulnerable to further attack. In season 4, will Iran break out to nuclear weapons? It is already a nuclear threshold state. It has enough highly enriched uranium to produce several nuclear bombs, and it can bring them to weapons grade at a time of its choosing at multiple facilities. And Israel will face a fateful choice. whether to launch a military operation alone or with the United States to stop an enemy regime sworn to Israel's destruction from obtaining the weapons with which to destroy Israel. Now, that evil regime is vulnerable. What we need now in season 4 is maximum pressure on the Ayatollahs. The aggressive containment of their aggression, the dismantling of their nuclear program, and ultimately, the fall of the Islamic regime. Now, throughout all 4 seasons of this October 7th drama, the writers have woven in a plot arc that some critics of the show think is marginal. And that's attacks on Jews around the diaspora. This is the 8th front of the October 7th war. From an organized lynch of Israelis in Amsterdam to a synagogue set on fire in Melbourne just last week, our global family is being threatened in places we assumed were safe and secure. But October 7th excited and exhilarated people around the world. People who are making life hell for Jewish students and importing political violence into Western countries, all in the name of globalizing the Intifada. And this has spurred a tectonic shift. I call it the Great Diaspora Awakening. Jews who are redoubling their support for Israel, suddenly discovering a connection they never knew that they had, because now they know that all of these plot threads are connected, whether they want them to be woven together or not. This war has reminded all of us and our allies. Can we have another round of applause to them? This war has reminded us that we are all characters in the same global drama. And as much as the diaspora needs a strong Israel, Israel needs a strong diaspora. If you want to make Aliyah, come. I can't promise the traffic will be any better, but at least the water is warmer. But if you choose to stay in America, there is nothing more authentically Jewish, nothing more authentically Zionist than to hold your ground and to speak up for our people. Your mission, the mission of everyone in this room, is to make the world safe for Israel so Israel can keep making the world safe for the Jews. Never stop fighting for the hostages. And you know that when you fight for the hostages, you are fighting not only for the living buried alive, not only to end their families' suffering, but also for the dignity of every Jew and every Israeli, wherever they may be, for the value of every Jewish and Israeli life. We need you to tell your government, to tell Hamas and its patrons, Qatar, Turkey, and Iran, to let them go now. Or else. It feels now that we are racing towards a series finale. But there are 2 ways that the writers can try to tie up the loose ends. One option is that the tensions remain unresolved. Iran remains forever on the cusp of nuclear weapons. Hamas holds on to the hostages. The war in Gaza limps on indefinitely, or we're forced to accept a ceasefire that leaves Hamas free to rebuild its power. The ceasefire in Lebanon goes unenforced. Hezbollah rebuilds its forces south of the Litani. Israel is increasingly isolated, and anti-Semitism surges around the world, while the Palestinians draw the lesson that terrorism works and they should do more of it. And on top of all that, Israeli society keeps tearing itself apart. In short, one option is that October 7th becomes one of those shows where the writers have clearly grown bored by the end and can't think of any inspired way to say goodbye, and it just limps onwards with needless bloodletting. That is what will happen if our enemies have their way. They want to destroy Israel, and to that end they are working to convince the world that Israel deserves to be destroyed. That is why they are waging a vicious campaign of misinformation and blood libels to make Israel a global pariah among the nations. No lie is too monstrous for them to leave on the cutting room floor. We are not alone, but there are people working very hard to make sure that we will be alone. We need every person of conscience to stand with Israel and to stand with us. And that is why, after I was forced to resign as a government spokesman, I founded the Israeli Citizen Spokesperson's Office to continue the fight for Israel's good name, and that's why I'm proud to be here supporting Stand With Us. Just a month ago, I did a tour of Canada with the Canadian branch of Stand With Us, and I saw the really terrific work that this organization does on campuses. Sometimes we feel we are alone, but Stand With Us is doing critical work, mobilizing allies in our defense. But there is another option for how this ends. The screen fades to black. Typewriter font ticks across the screen. 5 years later. Hamas releases the hostages and surrenders. Saudi Arabia makes peace with Israel, and other Muslim nations join the Abraham Accords. The Lebanese people rise up to retake their country, banishing Hezbollah and making peace with Israel. Western taxpayers, shocked by how their tax dollars subsidized October 7th through the Hamas front known as UNRWA, forced the Palestinians to face reality and end their forever war against Israel. The Iranian people toppled their evil regime and announced direct flights to Tel Aviv of Boeing 747s, not ballistic missiles this time. The Israeli economy booms, and all of you watching from afar in LA say, damn, I should have bought a holiday home there when I could still afford it. It sounds far-fetched, but why not? Has anything in the last year made sense? Does it sound unrealistic because it could never work, or because no one has really tried it? This is the vision that world leaders must pursue. If there is one common thread of October 7th, it's that no plotline is too crazy to happen in real life. Anything is possible, for worse or for better. There is a dig that Israelis make at each other. Ata chai beseret. You're living in a movie, or better, you're living in La La Land. You all live in the OG La La Land. And you are using that privilege to support Israel through Stand With Us. But it is a privilege to live in a movie of your own making. That's what Zionism is all about. Empowering the Jewish people to design their own storyboard. In Israel, the Jewish people are the directors and the protagonists of our own exhilarating epic. We get to write the script and design the set and compose the soundtrack of our own lives. We even perform our own live stunts. No more supporting actors in someone else's story like in 2,000 years of diaspora history. In Israel, in the same dangerous world, we get to be the leading actors and actresses. It is an immense privilege. But if all the world's a stage, then it's better to have your own theater. On 10/7, we lost control of our story. And if we slip back into the same division and infighting that preceded this horrible war, there is a risk we will lose the plot. But I believe in our magnificent cast. I believe in the extraordinary men and women who dropped everything when disaster struck and performed the most incredible acts of courage. The ordinary citizens, and especially the young heroes, they're not Gen Z, they're Gen Zionist, who proved there is no such thing as being an extra. Our homeland is safe in their hands, and in the spirit of Wicked, there's no place like home. This is our production now, and if we've got anything to do with it, it's going to get renewed again and again. Thank you, everyone. I'm Isaiah
Thank you, Eylon. Woo! And thank you all of you for sticking it out to the end. You all deserve a round of applause. Woo! And please continue supporting the most important work of Stand With Us. And my young professionals in the room, make sure you come to the after party. We're going to dance, take photos, and I'm wishing all of you meaningful holidays. See you next year. I'm Yisrael Chai. Woo!